Let's talk about something we all do, probably almost every day: online shopping. You see something you like, you click a button, and a few days later, it's at your door. Simple, right? Well, today we're going to peel back the curtain on that simple click. Because behind it, there's this whole hidden world of ethical, social, even political questions. We're going to explore that moral landscape together. All right, let's start with that one super familiar action: adding something to your cart and checking out. We're all online shoppers, but what does that truly mean in today's digital world? I mean, it feels instant, doesn't it? Your order's confirmed, and you just wait for the package. But that single click sets off this massive, invisible chain reaction. We're not just talking about a box getting from a warehouse to your house. We're talking about data, power, and who's responsible for it all. And, that's where things start to get really interesting. And this, right here, is the heart of the whole issue. E-commerce just exploded onto the scene so fast that it's basically operating in a space where the rules are still being written. The law and our own moral codes are constantly playing catch-up, and that creates this huge tension between cool new innovations and the real-world consequences. So, how do we even begin to get our heads around this new digital frontier? Well, what we need is a map. So let's lay out a framework that'll help us organize all these tangled issues into something we can actually make sense of. We can pretty much break it down into these three big areas. First, you've got the ethical questions, the basic stuff about what's right and what's wrong. Then there are the social questions, which look at how all this affects society as a whole. And finally, the political questions, which are all about who's calling the shots and who has the power in this new economy. Okay, so we've got our map laid out, but to actually navigate it, we're going to need a compass. And luckily for us, there's a model that acts just like one, helping us pinpoint the specific challenges we're facing. And this is our compass. It points us toward 5 key areas we need to think about. First, information rights. Who actually owns and controls your data? Second, property rights. Who owns all the digital stuff we create and share online? Third, accountability. When something goes wrong, whose fault is it? Fourth, system quality. Can we even trust the technology we depend on? And last, but definitely not least, quality of life. Is all this tech making our lives and our society genuinely better or worse? All right, let's zoom in on that third one: accountability and control. Think about it. When there's a massive data breach, or you buy something online that's totally misrepresented, who's really to blame? It's not always as clear-cut as you might think. Now, this is a really important distinction. Let's break this down. Responsibility, that's kind of the base level. It's the moral duty to do the right thing and not cause harm. Accountability is the next step up. It's about having systems in place, like audit trails, so we can figure out who's answerable when something happens. And then you have liability. That's where the law gets involved and legal blame for any damages is assigned. Understanding the difference here is absolutely key. Okay, so let's bring this down from these big abstract ideas to something that's super personal to every single one of us: your data. Because every single time you shop, you search, you scroll, you're leaving a trail. And at the absolute center of this whole conversation is one word: privacy. It's this fundamental idea that you, and only you, should have control over your personal info. Who gets to see it, who gets to use it, and what they use it for. But in the world of e-commerce, that control is, it's constantly being tested. And just look at what's at stake here. It's so much more than just your name and your address. It's a record of everything you buy, and even the things you look at but decide not to buy. It's your location, it's what device you're on. They even build profiles to predict what you're going to be interested in next. They're basically building a digital clone of you. This isn't some kind of magic trick, of course. It's all technology. This incredibly detailed profile of you is built using a whole range of digital tools that are quietly working in the background. And here are the usual suspects. Your smartphone apps are tracking your location. Cookies are following you around the internet from site to site. Search engines are logging every single question you've ever had. Heck, even just adding an item to your cart is another data point for them. Every one of these tools adds another little piece to the giant puzzle of you. So, with all this data being scooped up, what's being done to protect us? Well, this question brings us right into the middle of a constant battle, this tug of war between the law and technology over just how much our privacy is worth. Now, it's not a complete free-for-all. Governments are trying to get a handle on this. We see an example here from Malaysia, and you've probably heard about GDPR over in Europe. These kinds of laws are a serious attempt to give us back some rights over our data. The problem is, the technology just keeps changing and evolving so fast, the law is always in a race to keep up. So here's the bottom line. That seamless, personalized, unbelievably convenient online world we all love to use, it's all powered by our data. We're paying for that convenience not just with our money, but with our digital footprint. That's the deal we're making, whether we realize it or not. And that really leaves us with one last big question to think about. As we're navigating this digital world, it's worth asking ourselves, when a service is free or an ad seems to read your mind, what are you actually paying with? Could it be that your privacy is the most valuable currency you have? It's definitely something to think about the next time you click buy.